Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Old school security kicks in after the break-in. Too late. SimpliSafe rewinds the story, stopping crime before it starts. ActiveGuard Outdoor Protection uses AI-powered cameras to detect intruders, alert live monitoring agents, and can deter intruders before they reach your door. It's proactive protection, plus a 60-day money-back guarantee and no contracts. To get 60% off your new system, go to simplisafe.com/podcast. That's simplisafe.com/podcast. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Old school security kicks in after the break-in. Too late. SimpliSafe rewinds the story, stopping crime before it starts. ActiveGuard Outdoor Protection uses AI-powered cameras to detect intruders, alert live monitoring agents, and can deter intruders before they reach your door. It's proactive protection, plus a 60-day money-back guarantee and no contracts. To get 60% off your new system, go to simplisafe.com/podcast. That's simplisafe.com/podcast. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Toby.
And welcome to the Whispering Woods podcast. This episode is all about
The Men in Black.
Yeah, this is a special request from Debbie that I've been promising her, but we were doing Halloween. So I was like, as soon as we come back, it will be The Men in Black. And I hope everyone had a fantastic October. If you have subscribed to Patreon, we won't be giving a shout out on this episode because it's been recorded previous to us coming back. So you will get a shout out on next week. And the same if you've left a review. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/The Whispering Woods, where for £2.50 a month you can listen ad-free. For $4.99 a month, you can listen to this podcast and our other podcast, Obscurata, ad-free. And we are also on Apple Premium, where for $4.99 a month, you can listen to both podcasts ad-free. Right. I've done this in one long narrative. And it's all sorts of encounters with men in black. And I've gone for more obscure ones, hoping that people haven't heard these before. Are you ready? For the story?
Yes, I am.
Men in black. Just hearing that phrase conjures up images of mysterious figures in dark suits, lurking at the edges of UFO stories. Unlike the light-hearted Hollywood agents, real-life Men in Black encounters are often described as deeply unsettling, even terrifying. Witnesses report strange, almost inhuman visitors who arrive unannounced, ask strange questions, and depart just as suddenly, often with a grim warning not to talk. These accounts have trickled in for decades, leaving those who experience them shaken and afraid to this day. Tonight we delve into some of the creepiest Men in Black stories ever recorded. Incidents that stand out for their bizarre details. These are not the classic cases you may have heard before. Instead, we've gathered lesser-known encounters that will make you question reality. In 1980, Dr. Peter Reuschwitz, a professor of humanities and folklore, was quietly reading in the University of Pennsylvania library. It was a normal day, until it wasn't. Without hearing any footsteps, Reuschwitz suddenly became aware he was no longer alone. Then in the corner of my vision I noticed a black pants leg and a black shoe, scuffed, he recalled. He looked up to find a tall, gaunt stranger looming over him. The man stood about 6'1" and maybe 140 pounds, deathly pale and clad in a rumpled black suit, with a white shirt and string tie, as if he'd been wearing the same clothes for days. Before Reuschwitz could process the intrusion, a stranger wordlessly sat down in one swift, unnatural motion, like he'd just dropped from the ceiling, all in one movement. Reuschwitz was startled. This bizarre figure folded his hands atop a stack of books and began to speak in a flat, formal tone. He wanted to know what Reuschwitz was reading. When the professor replied that he was studying UFOs and folklore, the man in black asked, "Have you seen a flying saucer?" Reuschwitz said he hadn't. The stranger's questions continued, oddly specific and increasingly agitated. "Do you believe in the reality of flying saucers?" he pressed. Reuschwitz politely answered that he wasn't sure. He hadn't given it much thought. Suddenly, the man's demeanour shifted from eerie calm to explosive anger. He leapt up and screamed, "Flying saucers are the most important fact of the century, and you are not interested." The outburst echoed in the quiet library. Reuschwitz was stunned. He instinctively tried to calm the stranger down, murmuring something to placate him. It seemed to work. Just as abruptly as he'd erupted, the mysterious man composed himself. In one stiff, unnatural move, he stood up and placed a hand on Reuschwitz's shoulder. His parting words were uttered softly, but carried an ominous weight. "Go well on your purpose." Then he turned and walked away, disappearing among the library shelves. For a few seconds, Reuschwitz sat there in shock. Then an overpowering wave of fear hit him. In 10 seconds, I was overwhelmed by fear. I had a sense that this man was out of the ordinary, and that idea frightened me, he later admitted. The library had fallen silent, unnaturally so. When he gathered the courage to get up and look around, he realised something was very wrong. The reference desk was empty. Not a librarian or security guard in sight. Moments ago, the place had other students and staff around. But now, it was as if time had skipped. He found nobody there. The bizarre stranger was gone without a trace. Terrified and disorientated, Royswitz returned to his table and sat for nearly an hour trying to compose himself. Finally, he ventured out again and saw the library was back to normal. People milled about once more, oblivious to anything unusual. It was as if the encounter had occurred in a bubble of altered reality. Royswitz wondered, had he imagined it? Was it a hallucination or dream? But the lingering dread told him it was something more. He later described feeling that the experience existed somewhere in the crack between real life and fantasy. Only much later did Dr. Royswitz learn about the Men in Black phenomenon and realise he might have met one that day in the library. The encounter left him shaken, a stark introduction to an uncanny realm he would spend years researching. Our next story takes us to a small town in Indiana, and it plays out like a scene from a nightmare. Bede Thompson was a high school student in Milan, Indiana. In January 1967, Reed had a remarkable experience. He saw a UFO float directly over his family's rural property in broad daylight. The object was a small silvery disc, gliding only 20 feet above the ground. Bede even managed to snap a clear photograph of the strange craft before it vanished beyond the trees. The sighting made local news and drew attention from UFO investigators. For Reed, it was an exciting mystery. He had no idea that his close encounter would soon invite something far more sinister into his life. Fast forward 6 years to 1973. Reed was now out of school and helping run his family's auto parts store in town. By this time, the UFO incident was a distant memory, until they walked in. It was a warm afternoon near closing time. Reed's large German Shepherd, Queen, lounged by the door as usual, ready to bark at any suspicious strangers. Suddenly, Queen did something Reed had never seen before. The dog whimpered and cringed in fear. 2 figures had appeared at the shop entrance. Instead of rushing to protect her master, the 100-pound guard dog cowered in the corner, trembling in terror. At this point, I knew we were in trouble, Reed later said. He turned his eyes to the visitors, and his blood ran cold. They were like no people Reed had ever seen. One was extremely tall, at least 7 feet. So tall he had to duck under the doorframe to enter. The other was unnaturally short, under 5 feet, with long, stringy hair. Both were cadaverously thin and dressed head to toe in heavy, outdated clothing. Despite the warm spring weather, they wore thick gloves, long sleeves, and hats. Not an inch of skin exposed, except for their faces. On those faces, something was wrong with them. They were an odd flat shade of flesh-coloured, but did not look like a real human skin, more like plastic or a mannequin. Bede found himself staring. It was as if the 2 figures were wearing lifelike masks, or their faces weren't faces at all. The taller man spoke first. His voice was a monotonous drone, completely devoid of emotion or inflection. Imprecise, too formal words he intoned. On January the 19th, 1977, at 4 minutes until 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, did you see anything unusual? The question, or rather statement, was so oddly phrased and specific that Reed didn't grasp it at first. He had seen many things. He was busy now and hardly in the mood for games. I've been so busy today, I can't even remember what I saw yesterday at 3 o'clock, he replied casually, trying to brush them off. Without a moment's pause, the strange man repeated the question, word for word, in the exact same flat tone, only louder and more insistently. Suddenly, Reed realised what this was about, the UFO. These two knew about the flying saucer he'd photographed 6 years earlier. Feeling a chill, Reed admitted, "Yes, I did see something unusual." What happened next confirmed his suspicions. The man's follow-up question was blunt. "Did you take a photograph?" Reed answered truthfully, "Yes." The demeanour of the visitors changed from strange to downright menacing. The tall man stepped forward, and with a flash of intensity in that otherwise flat voice, he demanded, "I must have that photograph and the negative now." The words came out with such forceful emphasis that Reed felt them burn into his mind. This was no polite request. It was an order. Reed's stomach lurched. These two figures, whatever they were, wanted the only proof of his UFO encounter. And they wanted it immediately. Surge of defiance rose in Reed. That photo was his and had been verified as genuine by investigators. He wasn't about to hand it over to a couple of creepy strangers without explanation. Summoning his courage, Reed flatly refused. "I'm not going to give them to you." His voice trembled with anger and fear. The tall man in black did not take this well. He began arguing with Reed in a loud, monotonous rant, insisting on getting the photo. The small companion echoed him, repeating, "Yes, we will go get it," in a strangely synchronized fashion. The confrontation grew heated. Two customers in the store glanced over, bewildered by the bizarre scene. Reed's own employee, who had been watching warily, slipped outside to check the pair's vehicle, perhaps to call the police with a license plate number. Moments later, the employee rushed back in, eyes wide and face pale. He whispered an alarming discovery. The stranger's car was unlike anything he'd ever seen. It appeared to be an old bright yellow 1969 Buick LeSabre, an unusual colour for such a car. But that wasn't the stranger's part. Peering through the windshield, the employee saw that the vehicle's interior was completely stripped out. There were no seats, no steering wheel, no dashboard, no interior at all. It was nothing but an empty shell of a car. How had these two even arrived in it? It should have been impossible to drive. This news sent a new jolt of terror through Reed. Who or what were these beings? Realising the situation was spiralling, Reed decided he needed to end the confrontation now. It was near closing time after all. He mustered a stern voice and told the pair that the photo and negative were locked in a bank vault, a lie, and the bank was closed for the day. There was nothing more to be done at that moment. "I'm closing up shop. You'll have to leave," he insisted, trying to sound braver than he felt. With that, Reed walked to the door and essentially ushered the unwelcome guests out, firmly closing the door behind them. Heart pounding, Reed watched through the window as the two mysterious figures headed back to their peculiar yellow car. He had to get away, at least for now. Without waiting another second, he ran to his pickup truck parked out back. Maybe he could lose them on the back roads to the next town. He started the engine and tore out of the lot, adrenaline surging. But within moments, his plan failed. The bright yellow Buick roared up behind him. Reed glanced in his mirror and his mouth went dry. The yellow car was right on his bumper, nearly touching his truck as he sped down the rural roads. Somehow, the impossibly driverless car was keeping pace, as if glued to him. Reed pushed the accelerator harder. The Buick matched his every move, trailing by mere inches at highway speed. He could not shake them. Racing into the small town of Versailles, Reed headed for a friend's auto garage, a place where there were always people around and bright lights. The sun was setting, and he desperately wanted witnesses if these beings tried anything. The yellow car followed relentlessly, almost pressing his truck through the streets. Finally, Reed screeched to a stop outside the open garage and bolted from his truck, running toward the safety of the well-lit workshop. The yellow car swerved in and halted just a few feet behind him. The two strange pursuers stepped out, their long shadows stretching in the dusk. They moved toward Reed in unnerving lockstep, following him right to the garage door, their blank faces fixed on him, intent on finishing their mission. Just then, one of the mechanics inside struck an arc welder, sending a brilliant flash of blinding light flooding the doorway. Reed threw up his hands to shield his eyes for a split second. When the spots cleared from his vision, he looked around, and the men in black were gone. He ran back outside to the street. Their yellow car had vanished as well. In the space of a blink, the pursuers had disappeared as if into thin air. Reed's heart pounded as he realised he was suddenly, blessedly alone. The nightmare was over. In the aftermath, Reed Thompson struggled to make sense of this harrowing encounter. He confided in UFO investigators about what happened, and they linked his case to a pattern of reports involving strange visitors demanding UFO evidence. Others, like an Indiana woman named Mary, had similarly been silenced by a pale man in black after a sighting. Reed was lucky to have stood his ground and come out unscathed. Many witnesses give up their proof without a fight. To this day, he firmly believes those creepy, plastic-faced beings were not human. The image of Queen the guard dog, trembling in fear of something no normal human could smell or sense, still haunts him. Whatever they were, the men in black wanted that UFO photograph gone, and they were willing to terrorise him in broad daylight to get it. Just when you think Men in Black encounters are relics of the mid-20th century UFO craze, along comes a very modern incident, complete with security camera footage. Our third story takes place in Niagara Falls, New York in 2008. Shane Sover, a hotel manager and a security guard at his hotel, have reported seeing a large triangular UFO in the sky outside the hotel one night. Their sighting made local news, and a UFO research group even came to investigate. Life moved on for a few weeks without incident. Then, one quiet afternoon, the men in black arrived. 2 weeks after the UFO sighting, on an otherwise uneventful day, the hotel staff on duty noticed something off. Through the lobby doors walked two very tall men, dressed in identical black suits and wearing old-fashioned black fedoras. This might not have drawn alarm. Business people pass through hotels all the time. But these two were immediately uncanny. For starters, they looked exactly alike. Same height, same build, same matching attire, even same facial features, as if twins or clones or mirror images of one another. Both men had extremely pale skin, almost anemic, and there was not a hair on them that anyone could see. No eyebrows, no eyelashes, completely bald under their brimmed hats. One staff member later swore it looked like they were wearing wigs sewn into their hats, so that no real hair would show. And their eyes. The men peered at the employees from behind large, deep-set eyes that appeared unnaturally blue, and they never blinked, not even once. The two strangers moved in perfect step up to the front desk and spoke to the receptionist in monotone voices. They asked for the manager, Shane Sover, by name. Mr. Sover, luckily or not, was not on site that day. He'd taken the day off. The agents then inquired about the security guard from the UFO night. He too was not present. With these answers, the pair's questions became oddly probing. They started peppering the front desk staff with inquiries about UFOs and strange phenomena, as if assuming everyone knew about the recent sighting. According to some accounts, the duo spoke about government cover-ups and conspiracies, all in that same eerily calm tone, which only heightened the staff's anxiety. Several employees reported feeling intensely uncomfortable, even scared, simply being in the men's presence. One staff member said it was as though the strangers could read minds, describing later that she felt they somehow knew what she was thinking. It was a deeply unsettling sensation. After a few minutes of strange one-sided conversation, the two men in black abruptly ended their visit. Failing to find the manager or guard they sought, they turned and left the hotel, disappearing into the parking lot. The shaken staff immediately alerted Shane Sover about what had happened. When Sover heard their descriptions over the phone, two identical hairless pale men in suits, he was alarmed. It sounded exactly like the classic Men in Black profile, something he never expected to encounter in real life. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Sover quickly went to the hotel security office and pulled up the surveillance camera footage from that day. Sure enough, the CCTV recording showed the two mysterious men entering through the lobby doors. The black and white footage, later released online, is grainy but clear enough to see two tall figures in black suits and hats moving through the lobby. They are notably taller than other people nearby and dressed identically. In still frames, their faces look unnaturally featureless and white under the brim of their hats. While skeptics have argued the video just shows two ordinary people, those who were there insist otherwise. Every single hotel employee who interacted with the pair was convinced these were no ordinary men. They were too strange, too alien in demeanour and appearance. The Niagara Falls incident remains one of the most intriguing MIB cases on record because it yielded physical evidence, that security tape, and multiple corroborating witnesses. The last account is perhaps the most mind-bending. It comes from a young man who shared his experience anonymously online years later, still struggling to understand what happened to him. Let's call him Jay. In 2007, Jay was a 17-year-old high school student living with his parents in a quiet suburban town. One summer evening, June 16th, 2007, to be exact, A violent storm swept through the area. Thunder rumbled and rain lashed against the windows as Jay hunkered down in his bedroom, happily escaping into a video game. With his parents out at work at a work event that night, he relished having the house to himself. As lightning flickered outside, Jay immersed himself in the world of Warcraft, flicking away on an epic quest. Suddenly the power flickered and his internet connection dropped. The howling wind had knocked out the Wi-Fi. Frustrated, Jay tried rebooting the router to no avail. Finally, he gave up. It was only a little after 6 p.m, but with no internet and a raging storm outside, there wasn't much a teen home alone could do. He flopped onto his bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the rain. Knock, knock, knock. A loud banging at the front door jolted him upright. Who on earth would be out in this weather? The knocks came again, heavy and insistent. Jay crept to his bedroom window, which had a partial view of the front porch. Peering out, he saw 3 figures standing at the door. They were tall men in black suits, illuminated in each lightning flash. One man pounded on the door with a huge fist. Another held what looked like some kind of device with a wand. Later, Jay would realise it was a Geiger counter for detecting radiation. The third man stood slightly back, clutching a black folder under one arm. All 3 wore identical black hats and black overcoats, despite the summer storm. Jay's first thought was police, or maybe FBI. 3 men that looked official at the door usually meant some authority. Gathering his nerves, he went to the door and opened it a crack. The lead man immediately pushed a badge up to Jay's face and spoke in a flat, monotone voice. He claimed that he and his colleagues were FBI agents. According to him, there had been a report of someone attempting to poison the town's water supply, and they needed to check the water sources in each house. Jay's mind raced. Poisoned water? This sounded like something out of a movie. Why would FBI agents be going door to door? Cautiously, he asked to see the badge again. It looked generic but passable, and the man's unsmiling face did not invite questions. In the driving rain behind them, Jay could make out a black car idling at the curb. Unsure what else to do, Jay let the 3 agents inside. He even called his parents to tell them what was happening. They were surprised, but reluctantly okayed cooperating with the FBI. Better safe than sorry. Strangely, once indoors, the suited men did not actually inspect any forces themselves. Instead, 2 additional workers, who looked like regular utility technicians, arrived with testing equipment to handle the water sampling in the kitchen. The 3 FBI agents stood in the living room with Jay, observing quietly. Jay noticed the odd atmosphere they brought with them, an uncomfortable heaviness. They barely spoke. When they did, their sentences were clipped and robotic, as if English was not their first language or they were forcing the words. One kept fidgeting with the Geiger counter device, though Jay couldn't imagine why. Radiation in the water? None of it made sense. Then, without warning, the power went out. The house was plunged into darkness. The storm must have knocked out a line. In the blackness, Jay heard the water technicians mutter in surprise. One of the suited men instructed everyone to stay calm, saying it was likely just a power outage. Technicians turned on flashlights and continued their tasks. As one beam swept over the tallest agent's face, Jay caught a glimpse that made his stomach drop. The light reflected off a patch of skin on the man's cheek. Except it wasn't skin. For a split second, Jay saw what looked like gleaming metal underneath the man's face, as if part of it was made of steel. The flashlight quickly moved away, and the tall man reached up and adjusted his hat, casting his face back into the shadow. Had he really just seen that? Jay's mind raced. Perhaps it was a trick of the light, but it looked so specific. Some kind of metallic surface under the flesh-tone makeup. He was now acutely aware that these visitors might not be who or what they claimed to be. Before Jay could gather his wits, one of the agents spoke in a low, urgent tone. "Sir, it has begun," he said to the leader. The man with the Geiger counter clicked it on, and immediately the device's static started spiking wildly. In the dim flashlight glow, Jay could see the needle dancing erratically and hear the machine crackling as if it were detecting some intense radiation source. The lead agent turned toward Jay. Through the darkness, his voice came cold and calm. "Do not be afraid," he said. Or at least that's what Jay thought he said. In the same moment, Jay's body was overcome by a sudden, agonizing sensation. It felt like every cell in his body was being tugged in different directions. He opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out. Reality itself seemed to warp. Jay's vision was engulfed by blazing white light. He felt utterly disorientated, as if he were falling apart. The world around him dissolved. For a brief instant, he even wondered if he died. Was this the infamous light at the end of the tunnel? In the blinding glow, a figure appeared. It was a man, smiling and gesturing to Jay, invitingly, as if welcoming him into the light. Jay tried to move toward this mysterious greeter, but found he couldn't feel his legs. A rush of images flooded his mind. Memories. He saw scenes from his own life, childhood birthdays, riding a bike for the first time, his first kiss, watching the 9/11 news with his parents as a kid. The images came in a torrent, faster and faster, as if someone were rifling through his brain like a filing cabinet. Jay realised, with mounting panic, that he was reliving his entire life. Was this what dying felt like? Then, just as suddenly, the experience changed again. Jay felt himself floating in endless white space, then plummeting. He was falling from a great height through clouds toward Earth far below. Terror filled him. The ground rushed up. In that instant, cutting through the chaos, he heard a familiar, monotone voice in his head. The voice of the MIB leader. "Do not, no matter what," the voice said, though part of the message was lost in static and white noise. Jay didn't understand. Do not what? Before he could grasp it, everything went black. He awoke with a gasp, drenched in cold sweat, back in his dark house. He was sprawled on the floor of his bedroom, his heart hammered against his ribs as he scrambled up, expecting at any second to feel that horrible pain again. Everything was quiet. The only sound was the thrum of rain on the roof. Jay fumbled for the lamp, and light flooded the room. The power was back on. According to the clock, it was 6:22 p.m. Only a few minutes had passed since the knock on the door, or so it seemed. Dazed, Jay crept downstairs, calling out for his parents. To his surprise, he found them calmly cooking dinner in the kitchen. They looked up in confusion as their son appeared, wide-eyed and babbling about agents and lights. His parents insisted that they had been home the entire day. They had no work event that night at all. Jay was utterly confused. He remembered them saying they'd be gone. He checked the calendar on the wall. His stomach dropped. The date. It was June 23rd, 2007. An entire week had passed. Jay had memories of only a few minutes, but according to the world, he'd been missing or unconscious for 7 days. In disbelief, he rushed to his computer. It was still on, and his game was logged in exactly where he'd left it when the internet cut out. A whole week ago. He hadn't eaten, drunk, or spoken to anyone for days. Yet here he was, alive and relatively fine, with disjointed flashes of some impossible encounter battling in his head. Frantic, Jay searched the house. Everything looked normal, until he entered his own room. There he found evidence that something had happened. His closet door was ajar, and inside, it looked as though someone had rifled through his belongings. Clothes were pushed aside and boxes were overturned, and on the closet floor lay an object that sent a chill down his spine. A black Geiger counter device, just like the one the FBI agent had been holding. It was real. It was all real. Somehow those 3 men in black had pulled him into a nightmare that defied logic and left this token behind. Jay picked up the device with trembling hands. He had no idea what to do with it. Keep it as proof? Throw it away and try to forget? In that moment, the memories were already slipping like sand through his fingers. He realised, horrified, that he couldn't clearly recall the agents' faces or what exactly they had said to him. It was as though parts of his memory had been wiped clean. Only fragments remained. The storm, the knock at the door, the flash of metal on the cheek, the searing pain, and that cryptic warning, do not something, no matter what. Jay never did recover the missing time from that lost week. In truth, he was terrified and confused. Over the next decade, Jay tried to piece together what had happened to him, but it never fully made sense. He kept the strange Geiger counter hidden away, a haunting reminder that it was not just a bad dream. Only years later did he share his encounter online, anonymously, saying, "I've never told anyone about this until now. I just live day to day as an ordinary person, hoping they don't return."
Hi, this is Knox from the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the Popcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about. Because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
So what do you personally think the men in black are?
I think they're sent out by the government.
Yeah, but what about the way they don't look like they're real humans? Because I would say that,
Yeah, they're probably the Area 51 lot, aren't they?
Do you think they're aliens?
Or they're made in a lab,
Yeah.
like Agent 47, enhanced human.
Enhanced human, or maybe part alien, part enhanced human. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird because of the way they don't tend to walk properly. they don't have any sort of facial expressions. So I don't think they're like from the government and they're human.
That just sounds like Agent 47.
What is Agent 47?
That is a game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is it about the Men in Black?
Nah, he's a government assassin.
Oh.
And he's like in it. He was in it. He had a normal life, and then, I don't know, like the government or something, like enhanced him in the lab. And then he's got like no emotions or nothing and all that.
Okay.
And he's like stronger than most humans, or all of the humans. He's better than everyone.
Right. A bit like RoboCop it was in my day.
Yeah. Well, that's in this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We will catch you again. Well, I'll catch you again on Wednesday for the Reddit episode. We also have the Obscurata episodes on Tuesday and Thursday. And then Toby will be back with me again on Thursday for the extra. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Did you know you can save up to 70% on the best brands just by shopping at FromRebel.com? We're talking about strollers, car seats, high chairs, espresso machines, cookware, everything you need for way less. Here's how it works. Every single day, Rebel drops thousands of new products on the site for up to 70% off. It is a constant stream of endless deals from top brands like UPPAbaby, Nuna, Baby Bjorn, Breville, Nespresso, KitchenAid, Le Creuset, and more. But you have to act fast because every deal is one of a kind. So if you see something you love, make sure you add to cart fast. So stop paying full price when you don't have to. Whether it's baby gear, kitchen upgrades, or a treasure for your home you didn't know you needed, Rebel has it for way less, up to 70% less. Shop from Rebel.com and save big.
Directions home?
Okay. At the next light, turn left.
What a day.
You missed entering the 66 Express outside the Beltway. Rerouting.
Traffic can't be that bad, right?
Okay. Sending a text to your wife that you'll be late.
Oh, no. Take me the quickest way home.
The 66 Express outside the Beltway was expressly built to save you time. Visit ride66express.com to plan your trip.